Dr. Batman Galich was born in Iran in 1935. He attended school in Scotland and received his medical training at London University St. Mary's Hospital School. Dr. Batman Galich practiced medicine in England before returning to Iran, where he helped develop hospitals and health centers. In 1979, revolution broke out in Iran, and as a member of a prominent family, Dr. Batman Galich was thrown in jail. It was while serving as a political prisoner in Evin prison that Dr. Batman Galich discovered the healing power of water. And it doesn't have ice in it either. As a doctor, he ministered to the needs of sick fellow prisoners. One night, he had to treat a man suffering severe abdominal pain caused by peptic ulcer disease. He had no medications to give him, so instead, he had to prescribe the only thing he had, 2 glasses of water. Within 8 minutes, the man's crippling pain had disappeared. Dr. Batman Galich continued his research into the medicinal effects of water throughout his 2.5-year stay in prison, and during this time cured more than 3,000 peptic ulcer sufferers with water. A report on his findings in prison was published in the Iranian Medical Council Journal. After his release and eventual escape from Iran, Dr. Batman Galich came to America in 1982, where he has continued his research into the role of water in the body and the identification of the body's many different thirst signals. He is convinced that water, which makes up 75% of our bodies and 85% of our brains, is the key to good health, and that most conditions of ill health occur because we allow our bodies to become dehydrated. Dr. Batman Galich's findings have been published in several scientific journals and presented at many professional and public conferences. He has written 2 books, Your Body's Many Cries for Water and How to Deal with Back Pain and Rheumatoid Joint Pain. Again, it is a pleasure to have you here, Dr. Batman Galich.
It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you, Linda, for your introduction. And it is an honor and pleasure to address the Yoga Research Society, because being of research-minded people, we travel along the same path, because I'm also curious. And it's my curiosity throughout my life that has brought me to this stage that I'm standing before you and trying to share with you the findings that have taken me over 18 years of full-time research to expose. As Linda mentioned, I treated one fellow prisoner who had severe abdominal pain of peptic ulcer disease, and his pain disappeared. I put him on 2 glasses of water every 3 hours, and for the duration of 4 months that he was in the same block with me, he had no more pain. Subsequently, I treated many others, as it was mentioned, and I came to the conclusion that these people were all thirsty. The label of disease is a I don't know label, as Dr. Sharma said, of unknown etiology. They just label a condition and call it peptic ulcer disease, but they don't know what causes it. Of course, recently someone has said that it's a bacterial disorder, which I dispute. So I researched the effect of water throughout the prison time, and if in that stressful environment of prison that from one moment to another we didn't know whether we were going to survive, because every time they were plucking people from the crowd and they were shooting them, and no one knew whether he or she was going to be alive in the next day or next hour. So in that stressful environment, water proved to be a better medication than anything I had learned at St. Mary's Hospital, Medical School of London University, or you or the medical doctors of today are learning at the various prestigious universities. So we are going back to nature, understanding the role of water in the human body, and by doing that, all of a sudden, all the conditions of ill health, painful degenerative diseases, a lot of conditions that are prevalent, define or develop a known etiology or known cause, chronic dehydration. So the human body possesses a variety of symptoms and signs and eventually complications of dehydration that we as doctors have not understood. We have given medication in place of water, and we have caused more damage than you can imagine. I believe we in the medical profession have to apologize to our society for having been so misguided and misinformed, not being curious, gobbling up whatever the pharmaceutical industry produces as research findings, and treating the conditions of dehydration with toxic chemicals and procedures. It is my intention to put a summary end to this bad way of dealing with sickness of people, and that's why I'm talking, I'm lecturing. I've produced many informative pieces, tapes, videos. I'm on radio probably every other day or every third day. I've been on radio for probably over 2,000-3,000 radios, explaining to people who listen to these programs, and some of them are very prestigious programs, that basically if they suffer from a range of conditions that I will identify for you, they're not sick, they're only thirsty, and they should only treat those conditions with water and not medication, and also salt, because salt is a vital element to the human body. And we do not understand salt either, particularly in this prevalent way of following research that is being done on medications, saying salt is no good and don't take salt, low salt diet, no salt diet, which are absolutely nonsense. So let's get into the meat of the matter, because it's a long lecture. I will try to identify and explain why a number of conditions that I have come across clinically and scientifically, why they are only states of dehydration in the body and not disease conditions. Can I have the first slide, please? We in medicine have been taught to look at the solid matter in the body, and when you look at the solid matter, so you become engaged in the fluctuation of particles in the body. So there are umpteen number of particles in the body. So far, research has concentrated on the variation of these particles, the concentrations, something missing, something more, something less, but none of these findings have produced a concrete result saying, other than the deficiency disorders such as vitamin C deficiency, vitamin B deficiency, and so on, the other conditions have not proven anything seriously. So we basically have to change our views. We have to look at the body through its water content. There has been a basic paradigm shift. Instead of concentrating on the solid matter in the body, which is